All right, South Africans living abroad are being stripped of their citizenship without even realizing it. That's according to senior researcher at the Free Market Foundation, Gary Moore. Now, the law states that a South African loses citizenship once they accept it from another country. But this is not in line with the Constitution, which says no one can be deprived of citizenship. The matter was taken to court back in 2021. It was dismissed. For more on this, we're joined by Moore. He joins us from Sydney. Thank you very much, Mr. Moore, for your time here on ENCA. Now, of course, Judge Callipin, Jody Callipin of the High Court did dismiss this application to revisit this section of the Constitution, but you believe the judge erred in his decision.
Yes, you have described it accurately. The section says that you will lose your South African citizenship automatically if you accept another country's citizenship, unless before you accept that other country's citizenship, you ask the Minister of Home Affairs for his consent to your taking the second citizenship. If you don't get that consent, or you don't ask, and you receive that second citizenship, automatically you will then lose your South African citizenship.
Yeah. And you believe that the judge in this particular case, remember it was an application was made for that part of the Constitution, I think it's section 6.1, that it had to be changed to not have a person relinquish their South African citizenship just because they're applying for citizenship in another country. But you're of the belief that Judge Jody Callipin actually erred in his decision. Can you explain to us why? Because he says that this act, which was, of course, something that was put out there by the apartheid regime, they were talking about the fact that they didn't want someone basically losing or becoming stateless, and that's why that rule in the Constitution, or rather that rule in the law, was put out there. But you're of the belief that the judge actually didn't read the act properly.
Correct. In fact, you can't interpret fundamental rights like the right of citizens not to be deprived of citizenship by word splitting and splitting hairs. What happened here is that the judge said that this is not a case of deprivation of citizenship, it's just a mere loss of citizenship, and so the section of the Citizenship Act concerned doesn't have to stand the test of justifiability under the Constitution. And so he said that that section, the offending section of the Citizenship Act, stands. The matter is going on appeal to the Supreme Court of Appeal at the end of this month, February. And one can expect perhaps that the decision of the judge will be set aside.
Yeah. So my question,
this section, yes.
So my question, Mr. Moore, was for you to just explain to us why you think the judge didn't make the correct decision.
Well, he interpreted the act as saying this is a mere loss of citizenship, and what the Bill of Rights says is no person shall be deprived of citizenship. And so he said it's a different word, and he's really splitting hairs there. And he said that because it's a loss of citizenship, not a deprivation of citizenship, then the Citizenship Act provision doesn't have to stand the test of constitutionality.
Just a personal question, perhaps, Mr. Moore. I see that you're in Sydney, and I'm not sure. I'm just trying to find out if you're one of the people who might be affected if, for instance, the Supreme Court of Appeal upholds the judge's decision.
I'll tell you frankly, that is a personal question, but I have applied to the Minister of Home Affairs for consent to taking a second citizenship, and it was granted to me. Okay. So I'm not directly affected by this myself, no. It's the unfortunate many who have applied for and obtained foreign citizenship without asking first the South African Minister of Home Affairs if they can do that and still retain South African citizenship. They are the many, countless thousands who, without knowing, and perhaps even today, don't realize that they've lost their South African citizenship.
And, you know, for instance, in terms of the fact that there are, as you say, thousands of people who are not aware, how did you get to this number? So basically people have no understanding of this particular part of the Constitution and the Citizenship Act.
A survey was done by the applicant in this court case, an email survey of many people living abroad, South Africans living abroad, and they were asked, do they know about this rule? And they said, no, we didn't know, and had we known, we would have done things differently. So, of course, it's just one single survey, but if you extrapolate from that to the many thousands of others, there is no doubt that there will be many.
All right. Thank you so much for speaking to us. Senior researcher at the Free Market Foundation, Gary Moore, speaking to us from Sydney in Australia.